The engines hummed and the soft glow of the dashboard lights were the only companions in the lonely expanse of darkness that stretched beyond the windshield. Raindrops pelted against the glass, creating a mesmerizing rhythm that seemed to synchronize with the erratic beating of my heart. I gripped the steering wheel tighter, trying to shake off the unease that had been crawling up my spine since I had started this journey. It was a stormy night, the kind that makes you question your decision to be on the road at all. The wind howled through the trees, and the branches danced menacingly in the shadows. I could barely see a few feet ahead, and every now and then the headlights would catch a fleeting glimpse of something lurking in the darkness. My imagination played tricks on me, conjuring up images of figures standing just beyond the reach of the headlights, their eyes reflecting an eerie gleam. I glanced at the map resting on the passenger seat, the lines and symbols now nothing but an incomprehensible blur. I had taken a wrong turn miles back, and the GUPS had lost signal ages ago. The desolation of the road weighed heavily on my mind, and a sense of isolation began to claw at my sanity. A sense of foreboding settled over me, and I knew that something wasn't right. I tried to focus on the music playing softly from the radio, hoping its familiarity would offer some semblance of comfort. But even the soothing melodies seemed distorted, the notes carrying an almost mournful undertone. The car's interior felt oddly cold, despite the heater working full blast. A chill ran down my spine as I thought I heard a faint whisper carried on the wind. I strained to listen, but the words, if there were any, were lost in the cacophony of rain and wind. My eyes darted to the rearview mirror, and my heart skipped a beat. A pair of eyes, faintly reflecting the taillights, stared back at me. Panic surged through me as I swerved the car, my breath catching in my throat. The eyes vanished, leaving behind a lingering sense of dread. I wiped my damp palms on my jeans and laughed nervously, chiding myself for letting my imagination run wild. Minutes turned into hours, or so it felt. The road seemed to stretch endlessly before me, a labyrinth of uncertainty and fear. The rain showed no signs of letting up, and the wipers worked tirelessly to clear my vision. My gaze was fixed on the road, every curve and bend demanding my full attention. And then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a figure standing by the side of the road. I slammed on the brakes, heart pounding, the screeching of tires filling the air. My breath caught as I peered through the rain-streaked glass. The figure was shrouded in darkness, its features obscured, but I could feel its gaze boring into me. A chill swept over me as I realized it wasn't alone. A more shadowy figures materialized, lining the road like silent sentinels. My mind raced, torn between the instinct to flee and an inexplicable curiosity that held me in place. My trembling hand reached for the door handle, and before I knew it, I was standing outside in the pouring rain. The figures remained still, their presence looming over me like a sinister secret. A voice, soft and haunting, cut through the rain-soaked air. "Lost soul," it whispered, sending a shiver down my spine. I turned toward the source of the sound, my heart racing even faster. The figure before me seemed to shift, its form blurring and distorting as if it were not entirely solid. I stumbled backward, my mind a whirlwind of fear and confusion. The figures began to advance, their movements slow and deliberate. I stumbled and fell, scrambling back on all fours, desperate to put distance between myself and whatever malevolent force I had stumbled upon. Back in the safety of my car, I slammed the door shut and fumbled for the keys. The engine roared to life, its sound a symphony of my frantic desperation. The figures remained outside, their gazes fixed upon me as I sped away, tires skidding on the rain-slicked road. As I drove, my mind raced, trying to make sense of the night's horrors. Had I ventured into some sort of supernatural realm? Were those figures lost souls, trapped between this world and the next? Questions swirled in my mind, but one thing was clear: I needed to escape this nightmarish landscape before it consumed me entirely. The road ahead seemed endless, a twisted path leading me deeper into the unknown. The rain continued to pour, the windshield wipers struggling to maintain visibility. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the rain ceased, the clouds parting to reveal a moonlit sky. I glanced in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see the figures still following me, but the road behind was empty, devoid of any trace of their presence. Relief washed over me, mingled with a sense of disbelief. Had it all been a hallucination, a product of exhaustion in the storm? I continued to drive, my grip on the steering wheel gradually loosening. The events of that night remained etched in my memory, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk just beyond the edges of reality. And as the first light of dawn began to paint the sky in shades of pink and gold, I knew that I had escaped the clutches of whatever malevolent force had tried to ensnare me. But still, a lingering doubt remained: had I truly escaped, or was it merely biding its time, waiting for the next unsuspecting traveler to venture into its realm of shadows? Only time would tell, but one thing was certain: I would never forget the night I drove into the heart of darkness and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell the tale.